Hello friends, myself Subhash Nagarse from Sri Digambar Jain Gurukul High School, Solapur. I shall welcome to all of you in this online session of At the Standard General Science. That first topic, Living World and Classification of the Microbes. Part first. In this session, we are going to discuss an introduction to the classification, biodiversity, need of classification, history of classification, and five kingdom system of classification. So friends, we will continue. In this first topic, living world and the classification of microbes, this is a very interesting and important topic since it closely relates with our daily life. The important subtopic that we are going to discuss are biodiversity, need of classification, five kingdom system of classification, and classification of microbes, that is microorganisms. Today we start with the biodiversity. Friends, we just see how wonderful is the living world. The wide range of living types is amazing. The extraordinary habitats in which we find living organisms, be it cold mountains, deciduous forests, oceans, freshwater lakes, deserts, or hot springs, leave us speechless. The beauty of a galloping horse, of the migrating birds, the valley of flowers, or the attacking shark aware us about the fear and deep sense of wonder. By tradition, living organisms are classified into two kingdoms, namely the plant kingdom and the animal kingdom. Within each kingdom, several smaller groups are also distinguished. So, friends, you observe what are the different things that we observe on this mighty earth. See, these things you can observe. So, this is the different variety that could find on the earth. These are all living things. So such variety that we could observe on the earth. This is the biodiversity. So let us see what do you mean by this biodiversity. If you look around you, we'll see a large variety of the living organisms, be it potted plants, insects, birds, your pets, or other animals and plants. There are also several organisms that you cannot see with your naked eye, but they are all around you. If you were to increase the area that you make observations in, the range and variety of the organisms that you see would increase. Obviously, if you were to visit a dense forest, you would probably see a much greater number and kinds of living organisms in it. Each different kinds of the plants, animal or organism that you see presents a species. The number of species that are known and described range between 1.7 to 1.8 million. This refers to biodiversity or the number and types of organisms present on the earth. We should remember here that as we explore new areas and even old ones, new organisms are continuously being identified. Friends, there is a need to standardize the naming of living organisms such that a particular organism is known by the same name all over the world. So this process is called nomenclature. Obviously, nomenclature or naming is only possible when the organism is described correctly and we know to what organism the name is attached to. This is identification. So friends, now we'll see the need of classification. According to 2011 census, around 87 million species of living organisms are found on the earth, including land and sea. To study such a vast number, it was essential to divide them into groups. So groups and subgroups were created considering the similarities and differences among the living organisms. Yes, this process of dividing living organisms into groups and subgroups is nothing but a biological classification. So what is the history of classification? Just we will see. So Carl Linnaeus in 1735 divided the living world into two kingdoms, namely Vegetabilia and Animalia, that is plants and animals. Then Haeckel in 1866 considered three kingdoms, that is Protista, plants and animals. In 1925, this Chatham created two groups, that is prokaryotes and eukaryotes. In 1938, did Copeland divided living organisms into four kingdoms, that is Monera, Protista, plants and animals. So friends, now we'll see five kingdom system of classification. Very early on, scientists began grouping the living organisms under different categories. Some biologists classified organisms into plants and animals. Ernest Haeckel, Robert Whittaker, and Carl Woese are some biologists who attempted a broader system of classification. Amongst these, the five kingdom classification proposed by Robert Whittaker stood out and is widely used. He is the famous scientist, that is Robert Whittaker. Robert Whittaker was an American ecologist. In 1969, he divided living organisms into five groups. For this classification, Whittaker considered the following criteria. Number one, complexity of the cell structure, where the prokaryotic and eukaryotic you have to be considered. Then complexity of organisms, unicellular and multicellular, the variety you could see. Mode of nutrition for plants and animals. For plants, that is autotrophic, photosynthetic, fungi, that is saprophytes, absorption from dead organisms, animals, that is heterotrophic, and this ingestive. Fourth one criteria was lifestyle. Plants, that is the producers, animals, that are the consumers, and fungi, that are the decomposers. And last one, that is phylogenetic relationship, is prokaryotic to eukaryotic, unicellular to multicellular. These are the five criteria he considered by classification of this living world. So in short, we will see how the examples and their characters in short of this five kingdom system of classification. R.S. Whittaker, the taxonomist, was the first one to propose this five kingdom classification. Here you could see the five kingdoms. So out of this, here on the vertical column, first column, you could see what is the type, then mode of nutrition, body, and examples. So first is the Monera, which is unicellular prokaryotes. This is autotrophic in nature or heterotrophic, lack well defined nucleus and cell organelles. Bacteria, blue-green algae are the examples of this one. Next is the Protista, where this type is unicellular and eukaryotes, autotrophic in nature as well as some are heterotrophic. Some organisms use pseudopods or cilia or flagella for the motivation, for the movements. Example is amoeba, paramecium and eugulina. Third kingdom is the fungi, that is these are the multicellulars, non-green eukaryotics, saprophytes or parasites. Mode of nutrition is either saprophyte, parasite, or sometimes this symbiotic. The body's fungus is made up of long filaments called hyphae. The network of this hyphae is mycelium. The examples are yeast, rhizomes, mushrooms, molds, and so on. The fourth kingdom is plants, that's planta. These are multicellular eukaryotes. This mode of nutrition is autotrophic. Its body exhibits high level of tissue differentiation and have specialized body organs. Examples are tree, plants, reps, and so on. And the last kingdom is Animalia, that is the animals. These are multicellular types, eukaryotic. Then these are heterotrophic in nature, that is mode of nutrition is heterotrophic. Then body structure is exhibits high level of tissues differentiation and have specialized body organs. They have well developed nervous system. Among all these have these characters. Example, fish is there, insects, animals, humans, birds, and so on. Friends, I think all of you have been Understood this classification? So what we have been discussed today? Today we discuss the following subtopics of this chapter, that is introduction, then biodiversity, what do you mean by this biodiversity, the need of the classification and a brief history of this classification, and five kingdom system of classification. So friends, will you try these questions? What do you mean by biodiversity? Why classification of living world is necessary? Write in brief the history of classification. Which criteria was considered by Robert Harding Whittaker for the classification of this living world? Explain in brief the five kingdom system of classification. So you write all these in your notebook and prepare. Friends, you should not forget that famous words by Plato. The beginning is the most important part of the work. Very nice wording. The beginning is the most important part of the work. If you like this video, please subscribe and share. With these words, I would like to say thank you.